family 2 counties over. Lillian was considered quite a lady about town, morally unfettered. She took a sudden trip to Europe when she was 17. You can be damn sure Lillian Smith had a baby.
And you think her baby was the unclaimed girl on the fire?
She would have been the same age as Lillian's child was. And even though the circus was coming to her town, she traveled 2 counties to be there that day. Added up, she didn't want to be seen by anyone that knew her. 8959 was her daughter.
We'd like to have a word with Miss Smith. Do you happen to know where we might find her?
I know exactly where you can find her.
Well, this complicates matters.
Doesn't make any sense. I mean, if Lillian Smith is her mother and she's dead, then aren't they together? I mean, hasn't the little girl essentially been claimed?
Perhaps Delwyn Hall had it wrong.
Or we did.
Hello?
Paul?
Yes.
It's Claudia Bloom from the Registry Division at City Hall.
Yes, of course.
I could lose my job for telling you this, but somebody responded to my request for current contact information. He's coming in to look at the paperwork you filed. This man could very well be your father, and he's going to be here at the end of the day.
Thanks, Claudia.
Paul?
She's here. Hello.
Why?
Why what?
Why?
I don't know. I wish I had an answer.
Why?
Paul's a very interesting young man, isn't he?
Wait a second. If he's talking to her right here, right now...
Paul! Tell her to stop! It's happening! Tell her to stop! It's happening! Tell her to go away! Abby! You okay? Are you okay? You'll be all right. Breathe. Breathe. Give me this.
Look, the 2:45 train will get you back to Boston. You can catch it just in time to meet your father.
I can't do that.
Why not?
I can't abandon this girl the way he abandoned me.
Oh, it's not the same situation.
It's exactly the same. There's a reason she came to me. Besides, if she appears again and
I'll keep working at it, all right?
I'm the only one who's ever had contact with her. She came to me.
You can see Miss Santos now.
Hey.
Hey.
You okay?
As far as bullet wounds go, I've had worse. I think I may have figured something out. Every time you see this little girl, she says the same thing.
Yeah, why? She wants to know why no one's ever claimed her.
Or it could be you're hearing it that way because that's your question. Sometimes a thing is just a thing. A list of those who survived the fire. We've been reading it wrong. Why isn't a question. It's a person. Rosanna, why? She's been trying to tell you her mother's name.
Mrs. Y?
Cable stitch is a tricky one. You'll have to ask me that again.
1944. You were there at the circus. I was asking... What you remember.
The past is easy. It's what happened this morning that's hard. I was eating popcorn. I remembered that. It was too salty. And there was a man sitting next to me, a rather large man. He seemed very interested in the clowns. I don't much like clowns. And every time one happened by, he poked me. But I was worried.
About?
I had just bought a new dress at Westerman's department store. Paid a bundle for it. I knew the bleachers were dirty, and I was afraid I would make a mess of it the first time I wore it. What a silly thing to remember.
Mrs. White, when did the fire begin?
Right after the show started. First I heard a scream, and then everyone screaming and pushing. The next thing I knew, I was on my feet, running just like the rest of them. We just wanted to get out. So many didn't.
Some were children.
You know, it's been years since I've been asked these questions. Afterwards, there were a great many questions. I was very relieved when they stopped.
That day, who were you with?
No one. I was alone.
You weren't with someone, a friend, family, your daughter?
I don't have a daughter.
She says the child wasn't hers.
I'm not so sure I believe her.
It's another dead end. We have no choice but to comb through that list of survivors one by one until we've eliminated them all.
Well, let's do it.
We do it my way. I'll head south. There's half a dozen leads in New York. You go back to Boston. The 2:45 train will get you there in plenty of time to meet your father.
I don't even know if the guy showing up is actually him.
You'll never know if you don't go.
Look, I don't understand.
I don't want to hear any more excuses. First you check in at City Hall, and then you check the names on those lists. All right?
Why do you care one way or the other whether I meet my father?
I have my reasons.
You just made it. We're leaving.
Thank you. Goodbye, Paul. Excuse me.
What? Excuse me.
Sorry. Stop the train! Stop the train!
What's wrong?
Stop, it's gonna crash!
Sir, why don't you calm down?
I need to talk to the engineer. She's on the train! She's on the train! Take your seats! Hey!
Okay, everything's under control. I take your seats.
Hey! Hey! Paul, take the emergency brake! Let me
Like, why'd you guys stop the train?
People were going to die.
And you knew that how? Look, interfering with mass transit is a federal offense. You understand you're dealing with some serious time here?
Mr. Larson, can I talk to you for a minute?
Wait here.
Just thought you should know. I just got a call from the RTC. Looks like we had a massive power outage at the main grid. They lost control of the tracks for almost 7 minutes.
How bad?
Could have been a lot worse. Radio contact, rail switchers, all of it malfunctioned. If that train here hadn't stopped, it would have plowed head-on into the 364 out of Philly.
My God. Any chance these guys were involved? Maybe set the whole thing up, looking for their 15 minutes?
Not unless they simultaneously caused the surge that blacked us out and started the storm that wiped out the backup grid. There's just no way. Like it or not, these guys just saved our ass.